All right, so we're diving into something a little different today. A real-life mystery, one that's really kind of captivated people for decades. The Delphos Ring.
Oh, yeah, this one's a classic.
It's not just another UFO story,
Ugh.
you know. It's like a cold case.
A cold
Yeah,
case.
we're going to try to, like, crack it open together.
I love it. Let's crack it open.
So imagine this. It's 1971, small-town Kansas.
Okay.
Crisp November night.
Yep.
You're a 16-year-old kid out hunting rabbits when suddenly...
Oh, here we go. All right.
Well, that's where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
This kid, Ronald Johnson, he doesn't just see like some fleeting lights in the sky.
Yeah.
He reports seeing a bright, like mushroom-shaped object just hovering above him.
Whoa, hold on. A mushroom-shaped object,
Yeah.
not just lights, like a full-on.
A full-on object.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about that for a second. Like, what would you do if you were in his shoes, 16 years old, see a giant mushroom in the sky? I mean, come on.
I don't even know. I'd probably just, I don't know, faint,
Yeah.
run away.
But Ronald, he goes back the next day with his dad, and that's when they find something truly bizarre.
Yeah.
Like a massive ring, like scorched into the ground.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
We're not talking about just a little burn mark, okay? This thing is 8 feet across.
8 feet. That's huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
Okay, so it's scorched into the ground, you said.
Scorched. And here's where the details get even weirder. The vegetation inside the ring is completely scorched, almost like it was exposed to, like, intense heat. But there's no impact crater, which you'd expect to see if something, crashed into the ground.
That doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Okay, so 8 feet wide, scorched earth, no impact crater.
Right, and that's what makes it so puzzling.
Yeah, it's like, what?
So people start calling in the experts, naturally.
Hmm.
Local police, news reporters, even geologists show up. They take soil samples, analyze the area. Everyone's trying to figure out, okay, what could have caused this?
Had to be something.
Yeah. Well, one of the first things they rule out is radiation. Soil samples come back clean, which immediately throws out some of the more obvious explanations like radioactive fallout or some kind of secret government experiment.
So it wasn't like nuclear?
No, not nuclear.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't radioactive material, then what was it? Theories started flying. Some folks went with natural phenomena, like maybe a meteor or like a bizarre lightning strike.
A meteor. But wait, you said no impact crater, right?
Right.
And lightning. I mean, I guess lightning can be powerful, but does it really create those kinds of, symmetrical scorch marks? I don't know.
Exactly. Even those explanations, they don't quite add up. Like, think about it. A meteor that leaves a perfect ring, no impact crater. Pretty
Yeah.
unusual.
Yeah, very unusual.
So, okay, if it wasn't a meteor or lightning, what else could it be? That's when the more, out there ideas start to surface. Secret government technology. Maybe even extraterrestrials.
Ooh, now we're talking.
Right.
Okay, but hold on. I mean, as much as I love a good alien theory, we got to be careful here, right? Like, we can't just jump to conclusions. We need to look at the evidence, use the scientific method.
Of course. But it's fun to speculate.
Oh, absolutely. It's just, easy to get carried away.
Totally.
Okay, so we've got this weird ring, scorched earth, no radiation. What happens next?
Well, the investigators are scratching their heads. And meanwhile, news of this strange event, it starts to spread.
But how? I mean, this is 1971, right? No internet, no social media.
Right. But think about it. This is small-town Kansas. Something this bizarre happens, word's going to get around.
I guess so, yeah. Small towns, everybody knows everybody.
Exactly. And somehow, news of this Delphos ring, it travels fast.
Yeah.
It quickly becomes like a national sensation. Newspapers are running stories. TV crews are showing up. It's like this small-town mystery. It suddenly has the whole country buzzing.
Whoa, from a small town to the national news. That's
Right.
crazy.
Well, it really makes you wonder how much the media frenzy, even back then, shaped people's perception of what happened in Delphos. Did it fuel the speculation?
Yeah.
Did it make people more likely to believe in, the more fantastical explanations?
That's a good question.
But before we go too far down that rabbit hole, I think it's important to remember the human element at the center of this story.
Yeah.
We've talked about the physical evidence, the theories, the media hype.
Yeah.
But what about Ronald Johnson? What happened to him after this incredible experience?
I mean, just think about it. He's a teenager, right? When this all happens,
Yeah.
seeing something so strange, so unexplainable, it must have had a pretty profound impact on him,
Absolutely. Imagine the weight of that experience, right? Not only did he witness this incredible thing, but then it becomes this huge public spectacle.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It makes you wonder how he processed it all, how it shaped his life, in the years that followed.
Yeah, and his story brings up a really important point about any investigation into like unexplained phenomena. How much can we really rely on eyewitness testimony? I
Yeah.
mean, memories can be unreliable, especially in those high stress situations, and people are susceptible to suggestion and,
So even though Ronald's account of this, the mushroom-shaped object,
yeah,
it's a crucial part of the Delphos Ring story, we also have to acknowledge those limitations of human perception,
and memory.
memory.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean we just dismiss his experience outright, but we have to approach it with a healthy dose of critical thinking.
Right.
And, this applies not just to the Delphos ring, but to any case where we're relying on those eyewitness accounts.
It's fascinating how this one event, right,
Hmm.
in this small Kansas town, and it touches on so many like bigger themes. We've got the scientific process, the role of the media, the psychology of witnesses. It's like the Delphos Ring is like a microcosm of the entire UFO debate.
It really is. And just like that larger UFO debate, the Delphos ring remains a mystery. Despite all the investigations, all the theories, all the media attention, we still don't have a definitive answer for what caused that ring.
So we're just left with a bunch of unanswered questions. Does the lack of like a clear explanation mean that the whole thing was just a hoax or a misinterpretation of something ordinary?
Not necessarily. Just because we haven't solved the puzzle yet doesn't mean it's unsolvable, right? And here's the thing. Sometimes that journey of exploration, it's just as valuable as finding the answer.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It forces us to think critically, question what we think we know, and consider possibilities outside our current understanding.
Exactly. It challenges us to expand our thinking, to like embrace the unknown, acknowledge that there might be things out there that we don't have explanations for yet.
And that in itself is pretty amazing.
It is. It's a reminder that the world is full of mysteries and that the pursuit of knowledge, it's a continuous process. We may never find all the answers, but that doesn't mean we should stop asking questions.
So where do we go from here? What can we take away from the Delphos Ring incident, even though it remains unsolved? I think for me, one of the biggest takeaways is like the importance of keeping an open mind. The Delphos Ring, it reminds us that we don't have all the answers. And there might be things happening in the universe that we simply don't understand yet.
Oh, absolutely. It really highlights those limitations of our current scientific knowledge, right? We're constantly making new discoveries, pushing those boundaries of what we thought was possible. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll have the tools or the understanding to finally explain these events, like the Delphos ring.
It's like you were saying earlier, the journey is just as valuable as finding the answer. It's that sense of wonder, that curiosity that drives us to learn and explore.
Exactly. And cases like this, they really spark that curiosity in us. They
Mhm.
challenge us to think outside the box, consider different perspectives, question our assumptions about the world.
And I think that's a really valuable exercise for anyone, regardless of whether you believe in UFOs or not. It's about approaching the world with a sense of curiosity, you know, and critical thinking, being willing to consider that possibility that there's more out there than we currently know.
Couldn't agree more. The Delphos ring. It's a reminder that the universe is full of mysteries, and that's what makes it so fascinating.
Well, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the Delphos ring. We've explored the evidence, the theories, the media frenzy, even touched on the psychology of witnesses. But the biggest question still remains. What actually happened that night in 1971?
And maybe we'll never know for sure, but that's okay. The Delphos ring, even without a definitive answer, it serves as a powerful reminder that there's still so much we don't know about the world around us.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners out there, they have a piece of the puzzle, a clue that can help us, unlock this mystery. So you have any thoughts or theories about the Delphos ring, we would love to hear them.
Yeah, absolutely. Share your ideas on social media, keep the conversation going. Maybe together we can get a little closer to understanding this whole enigma.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. But remember, the exploration doesn't end here. Keep asking questions, keep searching for answers, and never lose that sense of wonder. Until next time, keep diving.